We're down in the old workshop this morning. I am enjoying having a new studio over on Blue Rock Street, and it's really made a lot of space. But so we've been in the new studio for first of all, hello everybody, friends, future friends, frenemies, and enemies. I welcome you all to another video with me. And boy, I must think I'm really something if I'm doing all these YouTube videos, mustn't I? I must have the biggest ego and the hungriest, most profiteering bank account lust of anyone that's ever... No, those things all may or may not be the case, but I'll let you judge the content of what I say. So this morning I'm talking about why I'm not talking about shop-branded products. But before I do that, I wanted to thank Sanders Skateboards for being one of the most well-spoken and legitimate dudes in all of skateboarding. Sanders is a mensch. The guy is through and through the real deal, 100% true-to-life skateboarder. And Eric Sanders is terrific. Follow him on Facebook. Follow and order your stuff from Sanders Skateboards. It's depending on the culture that's getting pushed, it could be more local than your local. So Sanders is the good dope. Then I also want to thank South Austin Curb Service, which is a crew that I love very deeply, and also Gutter Trash Crew, Austin, Texas. Little shout out to Clayton Ryan Taylor and Jason Wren of Gutter Trash and South Austin Curb Service. Adam Birchfield, you got a shout out today. I want to encourage all of you. I corrected it in the notes on yesterday's video, but check out the review of Fickle Skateboards, Concave and Kick in concretelunch.info. That's Bob Lofton's blog. It's very well written. Obviously it's a good review. The bad reviews of stuff, like we got this 1-star comment from a Cincinnati local who we know has never ridden one of our boards ever before, and he said that it's too much money to ask for a skateboard, and actually that's a critique that I can accept that. I can accept that some people feel like it's too much money to pay for a skateboard. I'm very grateful that many people have discovered that premium price on a premium product is valuable. Well, hey, look, it's a busy day today, and in a few minutes I'm going to go upstairs and cook some breakfast. And Kevin Marks from Look Back Library is here. He is driving across the country with a preservation society for skateboarding history in a Sprinter van, and he took his Sprinter and he parked in my backyard last night. We sessioned my backyard. We did a tour of Cincinnati, took him around, and he and I are both early bed, early rise guys, so we cashed it in. And then today he's got some errands to run. I know he's picking up some mags, but the Look Back Library is awesome, and I actually want to do a little video with Kevin later today. Look Back will be in the Galaxy Skate Shop, just blocks from my home workshop, just blocks from my studio, and it'll be there at 4040 Hamilton Avenue from 6 to 9 p.m. tonight. And I think this kind of thing, Look Back really brings communities together, and that's what I'd like it to do. I'm considering attending myself. If any of you guys know about the nature of controversy in the Midwest, you'll know that that's a consideration that is of some weight. All right, so moving on. Why I'm not talking about shop-branded products. The reason why I'm not going to comment on the fact that shops are now releasing, of course, for a long time they've been doing decks. Shop-branded decks are why in Tony Hawk's recent interview in Thrasher, he talks about tiny profit margins and not being able to pay his pros what he thinks they're worth. Shop-branded decks everyone has the right to do whatever they want as much as they can. I believe in that. I'm a kind of laissez-faire economist. I think everyone has a right. But the reason I'm not going to discuss shop-branded products is because unwittingly, the long-term effect of shop-branded products has been the destruction of brands' ability to bring inspiration and increase the number of skateboarders. And the reason I'm not going to discuss it is because brands weren't doing a good job at that in the first place and really didn't deserve much defense against shop-branded products. And shops were doing a better job of sustaining the number of skateboarders, although increasing those numbers was not in the culture. The culture wasn't, and the reason I'm not going to discuss it is because it's just too much to go into on how mainstream standard skateboard culture really drove out children and ungifted people and people of the kinds of diversity that were very, very quite harshly marginalized. So I'm not going to have that conversation this morning. We're also not going to talk about shop-branded wheels. Wheels are one of the few products in skate that when they're made in America, like Bones, or now I've discovered Powerflex. Jim Gray has re-engineered the wheel at Powerflex. And Bones and Powerflex are two truly designed domestic wheel brands, in addition to a host of other wheel brands that are all made by a few different concerns. Wheels are one of the few products that you see have craft and engineering really here in America. And when I see shops coming out with shop-branded wheels, some of them I see are collaborative with Spitfire. That's cool, outside of Spitfire being a pretty consistently low-quality wheel. The Formula 4s have a better reputation. Their performance out in the street, nobody's doing tests on Spitfire wheels. Nobody's doing... Speed Lab. How do we not like Speed Lab as much? I don't know, Chris, how do you feel about Speed Lab? You used the pronoun we. I'm going to capitalize upon that to deflect this question. Although Alan Keller, who runs Speed Lab, is also a mensch, and I would encourage all of you to give Speed Lab wheels a try. They are they're poured, I believe they're poured in Baltimore, and the model that you have is you have okay. Let's talk about it. Yes, I like Speed Lab wheels. One reason I like Speed Lab wheels is that they have a history of independence. Another reason I like Speed Lab wheels is that the Speed Lab wheels have some good shapes and some good durometer setups. There's almost nothing I don't like about Speed Lab wheels. The reason that Speed Lab didn't make this the front end of this little listicle here is because I was just checking the dust on my wall. The 97 Danforths are a good wheel. They feel good, and they worked for me at Ollie's Skate Park, which is historically epically schmeggy park. I can't believe it. This smeg that you get on your wheels from riding at Ollie's. Doesn't matter almost what durometer, you're going to be smeg durometer in a minute at Ollie's, and they're good grippy sticky wheels with a good their profile radius is sharp and cornered. Speed Lab is a good wheel brand. They are made in the same factory as several, and by several I mean hundreds of other wheel brands. And the things that set these wheel brands apart in this group is that they choose a durometer. They get to they either get to choose from wheel shapes or they get to have their own molds. That's extremely rare that a company can use their own molds in that setup. So that's a factory production setup. Now, Speed Lab has got some really, really interesting shapes. And one reason that I haven't settled in to... I'm just looking at a comment here. I just went to Spitfire Asymmetricals after years on Bones. He's loving them. I'm happy if you're happy. I care about. See, when you listen to me talk, you're listening to a guy who cares about the long-term standing of industry and the position of industry, whether or not it supports developing community, whether it supports giving value to community. Spitfire is a Chinese-made wheel, as far as I know. I welcome new information, but please, if you have new information, don't tell me that they have some lines or models or products that are not Chinese-made. There's no way. Once a brand is producing anything non-domestically, I'm done. Once I find out that a product is of mixed origins, I'm done. Yeah, no, Spitfires have been Chinese-made for like 15 years or something. I mean, Spitfire stopped being stopped being good urethane. They stopped being good urethane in the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, I'd love for Jim T to come in here and tell us all about how Spitfires are the highest possible product quality that's available on the market today, which is the way that it rolls off the tongue and it sounds great. But when you hear on the market, it means on the non-domestic, mass-produced Chinese market, or Thailand, Taiwan, China, PROC, ROC. I mean, you got this whole thing where once a product is factory made. Now, here, let's contrast it with Powell. George Powell has been vilified for years. There are two things I always hear about George Powell. They say he's an arrogant prick. So they say he's a prick. And the second thing they say about George Powell is that he isn't a skateboarder. Well, all right, let's put those two things in one column, and then let's talk about Powell's wheels. Now, Powell runs Chinese line wheels. You know which ones they are. They're the Mini Logo and I believe the Powell line. But Bones wheels are made, engineered, tested, made, and supervised straight out of Skate 1 in an American facility, and have always been. So Bones wheels, here you have every right to make a Chinese product, every right to make a product line that's non-domestic. I'm not going to be hating on that, but I'm not going to expect consistency and pleasing quality from those wheels. Now, when I look at Bones wheels, I'm looking at the highest quality, and $38, $42, $45. I would pay $52 for a set of wheels that I know are going to treat me right all year long. That's fine with me. I don't resent paying premium prices for premium products. I want to skate stuff that feels great and performs consistently, so I can dial my shit in to something that feels great and have a consistent experience. So I like Bones a lot. Now, the thing I don't like about shop-branded stuff is I'm uncomfortable with the long-term effects of labeling being the market driver. Branding and labeling have let us down. I think of how many brands are nothing but the same, but a different label stuck on the same exact, relatively low quality. Of course, there are some good boards that come out of. I can imagine that out of 1,000 boards, you've got several good boards that have accidentally been left in the press long enough, or have accidentally gotten the proper glue, or maybe accidentally didn't get birch but got full maple out of the Chinese pressings. I'll never argue that anything Dwindle is making is very good, because we watch that product again and again. And people that swear by it and say their board lasted them for a year or something like that with the almost impact support and stuff they're not convincing us over here of anything. And there's no data. Nobody's providing any sort of data. There's no consumer group that cares about these things to have a real conversation based on data and facts. So a lot of this stuff is just anecdotal. And but shop branded products are not going to be discussed today, because they are one of the most historically damaging things to ever happen, and everyone is so excited about shop branded wheels and shop branded boards, and they're so excited that the price of a skateboard deck is $35. That they don't mind that it only lasts for days. You know, they don't mind that it's lumpy, doughy, not truly 99A, not truly 100A, not consistent in Durant. They don't mind. And, you know, the reason why I'm not going to talk about those things is because people are happy with what they've got. So it won't be discussed. It won't get picked at. It won't be critiqued. We're going to just, you know, yeah, we're gonna see. Well, you know, good luck with longevity. Finding a wheel that doesn't wear out. You know, the obvious fact is, knowing Josh Niven, who's commenting here, there's nothing you're gonna ride, Josh, that's not gonna wear out, because you are straight up rough on everything you ride, and your standards for durability may run you into wheels that are softer than you wish they were, or that don't break free and slide. Because you're probably a guy who has to set aside a little extra money to keep your kit fresh, because you're going to go through a lot of wheels. When you start seeing the flat spotting that happens on wheels that aren't super good formula, and wheels that aren't under quality control and testing, like Bones, like Powerflex. When you start to experience that, let us know, because it is a fairly confident prediction of mine. You're going to wind up coming back to companies like Powerflex and Bones that do true quality testing and true development in an American facility under real scrutiny. You're going to wind up coming back to those after riding Chinese stuff, because batch after batch, this set of wheels lasted longer, 3 of the wheels didn't shrink as fast, yada, yada, yada. But, I wanted to just let you go with that. I'm not going to talk about shop-branded stuff, because it's really, really ruined a lot. But the things that it ruined weren't worth saving either. Brands were doing a terrible job through the 90s. At promoting skateboarding in a way that was really sustainable and really good. Shops co-opted the place of branding and lost all the tours and destroyed all the brands. The only ones that could hang on were the ones that were connected to investor money, and like Birdhouse, a great example of a brand that has struggled and struggled, and you would think they're all millionaires. We know Tony Hawk is doing okay because he does like an MTV Cribs or something like that. But that's not necessarily true of his riders. He intimated in Thrasher that his riders are under-supported, and he appreciates and that's why he's doing a full-length video. He says the company is not going to make money this year because they're doing a simple video, so there's not that much money running around. And the reason why is because brands didn't expand the number of skateboarders. They didn't expand and multiply the kinds of skateboarders there are. They didn't invest anything in developing skateboarding among women, among minorities. They didn't do anything for skateboarding among the handicapped or the ungifted. They never promoted classic surfing style skateboarding for people who didn't want to jump down shit. We spent literally 20 years popularizing and moving a form of skateboarding that only fits a tiny portion of the American population, and we caused the scooter revolution. So now I'm going to talk about shop brands, because honestly, can't blame shops for going ahead and co-opting the industry away from the brands who historically promoted skateboarding, because they were doing such a bad job. And that's why shop wheels and shop decks get a pass, even though they've destabilized and ruined an entire industry. And let me point something out. It's not the shop's fault, because the wheel makers and the deck makers are the ones who got real slutty and opened accounts for shops to undercut the brands, maybe to their own detriment or perhaps to their own survival. I don't know, but we're not discussing it. So have a great day, and I will be back to not discuss a whole bunch of things as we go. And I'm going to hit finish. Catch you soon.